Some very strong commentary, opinion coming in on two films that have invoked two very, very distinct reactions. One is Animal, Ranbir Kapoor, and the other one is just a fraction of a teaser which has just been released of the film Fighter. And once I'm done with this piece, hopefully you will know how deeply troubling these reactions are. First up, let's get to the latest controversy, which is the trailer of Fighter. The teaser, promo, trailer for Fighter touted. The film Fighter, touted as India's first aerial action film, is out. It's billed as our own very desi Top Gun. But strangely, the topic of discussion is not, the breathtaking aerial fighting sequences, the dogfight between two airplanes, where for the first time we will see in Indian cinema action in the skies, high adrenaline dogfight sequences. So why aren't people talking about that, and what are they talking of? Well, they're talking of just a 3-second fraction of a shot in this teaser, which most of them are aghast or outraged with. It's Deepika Padukone in a black monokini or bikini, whatever you might want to call it, and that's got a lot of people's knickers in a twist. The film trailer has a shot of Deepika wearing the bikini, tied in an intimate embrace with squadron leader Shamsher Patania, played by Hrithik Roshan. And that was enough to let loose a barrage of abuse and outrage against Deepika and the filmmakers. How dare a fighter pilot from the Indian forces with the rank of a squadron leader, who Deepika is playing in the film, be shown wearing a bikini on screen? A squadron leader in the Indian Air Force, a fighter pilot, a woman in a bikini? Outrage. Not a word on bare-chested Hrithik Roshan, who himself portrays the role of a squadron leader. Nothing on that, of course. But, of course, a woman in the Indian Air Force shown in a bikini is sacrilege. We might make light of it by referring to jobless Sanskari Brigade, now back in action. But the massive blowback we see on Deepika's choice of clothing smacks of something far deeper, far more sinister. I can use words like misogyny, sexism, patriarchy, but ultimately it exposes the massive double standards, deepest contempt on how we view women in our society. Where it is all right for a woman to wear skimpy outfits if she's doing what is considered a non-serious job. An actor, a model, a DJ, or anything which is really not serious. But if she's in the armed forces, a politician, a bureaucrat, how dare she? It does remind you also of the last time Deepika was in trouble for wearing a bikini in Pathan, but that time it was more to do with the color of her bikini saffron. This time around, it is to do with what she's portraying on screen, which is something which is supposed to be above wearing a bikini. So a woman who is a fighter pilot or attached to the Indian Armed Forces can never, her choice of clothing can never be a bikini, because fighter pilots don't wear bikinis as per most Indians, or the thought process. Now coming to the film Animal, what many have described as a piece of cinematic brilliance is deeply troubling on how toxic misogyny, narcissism, violence, patriarchal abuse is not just accepted but celebrated by most, where it nicely passes with the hall pass called art, the violence, the misogyny, the patriarchy. With most saying it's just a film, this is art, what's wrong with it? There are instances in the film which could be triggering for many women who have endured emotional, sexual, physical abuse. In this case, I'll give you a few examples. Ranbir Kapoor's character, who plays the protagonist, the hero, as toxic as he might be, falls in love with the heroine, Gitanjali in this case. And he does it through a lesson on alpha males, where the reason for marrying her by the hero, Ranbir Kapoor, is you've got a big pelvis, you'll produce healthy babies. Well, this was just the tip of the iceberg. In another instance, the same character, Ranvijay, played by Ranbir, repeatedly pulls his partner's bra strap, hurting her repeatedly. He later, like many narcissistic men, tries to soothe the pain. When Gitanjali, his wife, makes an uncomfortable statement about the protagonist's father, he holds her by the neck, chokes her without any hesitation. He mocks her on multiple occasions, mocks the fact that she's menstruating. Ranvijay, also played by Ranbir Kapoor, orders his wife Gitanjali to undress in front of the house help. He cheats on his wife repeatedly, and that's all right, as per him. He asks a woman to lick his shoes if she wants to prove his love. Yet most people on the internet and across are celebrating this film as a masterpiece of sorts. What is interesting is that the censor board made many cuts in this film, mostly on nudity. None of the cuts which were made pertained to portrayal of this toxic misogyny. That, viewers, is how deep-seated runs the hypocrisy when it comes to sexism in our country. Even the censor board didn't think it needed to make that cut in the most triggering scenes. But viewers, the problem is not with sexually, emotionally abusive, toxic alpha male. The problem, of course, is with squadron leader Deepika Padukone in the film Fighter wearing a bikini. That is what we all should be outraged about, not animal.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today News Mo.